Recently, I did a video about the 10 worst Hallmark movies of all time, and there was one in particular that was not like the others. It stood out, and that is Christmas Bedtime Stories. Now, this is from 2022, so it's a very recent Hallmark movie to be so hated, and I wanted to know why. And honestly, I was shocked. I've watched a lot of Hallmark movies. I always feel like nothing can shock me anymore. This one shocked me. I watched this movie with the community on a live stream, and the ending was so shocking. I honestly thought I was going to vomit and then pass away. Also, if you'd like to get involved in our Hallmark live movie watch-alongs, leave a comment down below. For those of you new here, hi, my name is Alanna, and I recap bad Hallmark movies. I just love it. I hope you do too. Today we are going to recap Christmas Bedtime Stories and figure out why it was so hated. We start off with very snowy royalty-free footage, but then we cut to the set, this like military base. Not a lot of snow. There wasn't enough budget for a lot of snow. Just use your imagination. We're at this like community center place, which, spoiler alert, most of this movie takes place within this one room when we're not shooting at somebody's house. As with all my Hallmark recaps, I never remember what the woman's name is, so she is our girl. She's our Hallmark girlie that we're rooting for. We meet our girl at this community center. They're doing like a toy drive, and it's like a military town / military base kind of thing. Our girl is talking to one of her friends about like planning the toy drive, and then she goes,
I mean, teaching a bunch of 17-year-olds calculus, now that deserves combat pay. Oh, they're here.
Let's make some Christmas magic.
How did she know that they were there? Because we didn't hear anything. We didn't hear the truck pull up. We didn't see the truck out of the window. She just... bitch is psychic, I guess. It's here we meet our one black guy, so if you're playing bingo, oh, guess what? I've got bingo cards on my website, talkinghallmark.com. If you're playing bingo, this is our one black guy. But we also meet Pierce, and I'll tell you what, Pierce has great sweater jacket combinations throughout this movie, so I'll give him that. But the dialogue here is painful. The acting, distressing.
Santa and his elf are in the house.
Ah, well, Pierce, I think you are missing the beard and the belly, but we'll take it.
Merry Christmas, ladies.
Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for doing this. You guys always come through for the kids.
Best part about working for a toy company.
Christmas, baby. Let me show you what we got.
Not to be a hater, but the toys that they're unloading from a toy shop looks like they raided like a secondhand charity shop.
Oh.
We have got the hottest new toys. The kids are gonna love them.
Oh.
This one is special for frazzled toy drive coordinators.
Stress Santa? That's perfect. Oh, I love these things.
What's kind of crazy is this is a 2022 Hallmark movie. Hallmark knows what they're doing, right? Like, they've been doing this for literal decades. They know the formula. They know what to do to make a reasonable Hallmark movie that people will really love. And yet the dialogue in this entire movie is so painful.
And are we still on for tonight?
Oh, yeah, the tangled Christmas lights in my garage have your name all over them, should you choose to accept the mission.
You are looking at the master detangler.
Okay.
Pierce asks if they can talk about something later, and they agree to meet up later that night to talk. If it was me and someone says, can we talk about something later? I am going to spiral out. No, we can talk about it right now. Then we meet our girl's daughter as she's getting off the school bus right outside their house. Our girl is standing there with the dog on the leash, and then they just like awkwardly turn around and come back in the house. Like, what was the point of standing out there, of getting the dog leashed up, standing out there to turn around and walk back in? I don't get it. Also, look how much snow there is. Definitely doesn't match the royalty-free footage we saw at the beginning of the movie but a regular viewer is not supposed to notice. I am just a hater. So the kid is upset because she's bringing her mom, our girl, to the father-daughter dance that's coming up at Christmas time. So it's here where we learn, like, the dad is gone, dead, missing. We're not totally sure, but the dad's not around. But the daughter doesn't, like, really remember him either. Pierce arrives to help with the Christmas lights, and it's here we're reminded of the brilliance of this script.
They are more tangled than I remember. Sorry.
Goodness, yeah, don't worry about that. I just hope I can do the house justice.
Hey, you string up 5 lights and I'd be happy. Last year, I stapled my shirt to the house.
Now that's something I'd like to see.
Hey, it was my favorite shirt.
I'm sorry about your shirt.
Yeah.
Upstairs, we get some more like house decorating footage, and the kid is still depressed. Love that. But we do get some shots of the dog kind of like curled up in the background, which honestly makes up for this scene. Our girl is talking with her sister about how the kid is really starting to ask about the father all of a sudden, is like bringing up all these memories.
She is getting older. She must be curious. She wasn't even 5 when he died.
I can't believe that was almost 3 years ago.
Now we know how long it's been. That's good writing. Go ahead and keep that up here. Our girl is upset because she can't find this Christmas bell ornament thing that Colby, the dead husband, gave her, but it's been missing for 3 years. Go ahead and keep that up here. Putting the kid to bed, she doesn't want a regular Christmas story. She wants a story about Daddy.
Tell me how you met Daddy.
Well, honey, it was last call at the dive bar and Mommy was lonely and horny. It's here we get our first, you guessed it, Christmas Bedtime Story. That's the name of the movie. So we get our first flashback. This one is 11 years ago. And side note, our girl in the past has bangs. So it's really easy to tell what's the present day and what's the past. The bangs. That's good writing. Anyway, it's 11 years ago and Colby, the dead husband, dead father, is on stage for like the Christmas tree lighting ceremony, and surprise, the lights don't work. And so while he's trying to fix it, our girl with some beautiful bangs jumps on stage to tell Christmas puns to kind of like stall while he's working on the lights.
What do Santa's little helpers learn at school? Anybody? The alphabet.
That's funny, Mommy.
What a kiss ass. Girl, you know that is not funny.
What do you call a snowman with a 6-pack?
The abdominal snowman. That's a good one.
Sir, you can't just grab the mic in the middle of her moment and make it about you. But of course, this is the Hallmark Cinematic Universe, so our girl finds this really endearing and not annoying. We also learn in this flashback 11 years ago, Pierce is Colby's best friend, and he hasn't aged. Another thing that stands out in this movie that just really made me laugh, and go ahead and look for it in all of these scenes, our girl has a full face of glam makeup in every scene in this movie. Like freshly applied thick lipstick just to tell a bedtime story to her kid at night. I love it, and you're gonna see it in every scene this entire movie. Back outside, Pierce is stapling the Christmas lights to the house. Like, do people actually do that? Also, okay, so I'm not a hater, but I am a hater. Our girl like smiles and laughs constantly throughout this, and it's not in like an endearing kind of cutesy way. It kind of feels like I don't know how to act way.
Okay. Oh, hi. Oh, I hope you're not too cold out here.
I am a human icicle.
Ta-da! The lights work.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, thank you so much. Oh.
You're beautiful.
I love that she doesn't say thank you or anything. The chemistry here is through the roof. It's here we find out that they have been dating for 9 months. And guess what? I couldn't believe it. Pierce proposes. She says she wants to talk to her kid first, but they celebrate anyway. Merry Christmas. 9 months. The next morning, our girl has her full glam makeup on and she tells the kid that Pierce proposes and the kid likes Pierce. End of scene. Next, Pierce comes over and he wants to give a present to his future stepchild. And you know what? That's very sweet. He's really trying. He's trying to be a good potential future stepdad.
Hi, Audrey. This is for you.
I already have a bear. It used to play my daddy singing Silent Night, but it broke.
Fucking hell, kid. What a buzzkill. Somebody get this kid some SSRIs. Also, because I am a hater, this kid sounds like she smokes 3 packs a day.
I already have a bear. It used to play my daddy singing Silent Night.
Anyway, the kid finally approves of the bear and approves of the marriage, right? And so Pierce, for some reason, still has the ring in his pocket. He brings it out and they open mouth kiss. Damn. Next up, we're at a Christmas tree farm and it looks like it's the middle of July. The Christmas tree farm guy says they've got the king of Christmas trees. Okay, throwaway line. And the daughter's like, Mommy, isn't that what Daddy said in your flashback? And yes, it is a throwaway line that Colby says during our first flashback of the turning on the Christmas tree lights. He says the king of Christmas trees. This is a major plot point, if you can believe it, so hold on. While we're manning a booth at the toy drive, our girl sees this guy and she thinks it's Colby from behind until he turns around and obviously it's just some random dude. Because once again, it's been 3 years and Colby is dead. Pierce is visibly confused, but he does seem genuinely sweet, if not just a little gay. But which man in the Hallmark Cinematic Universe isn't a little gay? We get a scene next at the house finishing up the Christmas tree decorating, and one of the only things of note here really is that the kid is still depressed that they can't find Colby's Christmas bell ornament, which has been missing for 3 years. Now, this kid barely remembers her own father, and yet she remembers this ornament. Make it make sense. Also, the kid asks Pierce if he will take her to the father-daughter dance instead of the mom. Everybody is very touched. It's very heartfelt. How sweet. Pierce has got a great sweater on. Love it. He obviously says yes, and he's very excited. He does seem just like a very sweet man who is desperate to get married and have a family. It's time for another bedtime story in full glam makeup. This time, it's the story of Colby's Christmas ornament. The thing that they've been talking about, the missing ornament. Now we get its origin story. And honestly, this is crazy to me. It's Christmas morning, a year after they met. Not a year of dating. A year since they have met. And what does Colby do? He buys her a fucking puppy. They don't even live together. They're dating. This is insane to me. Don't do this. But then Colby undoes the puppy's collar, which is a ribbon and a bell and an engagement ring, and he proposes. So the ornament that they're looking for that's been missing all this time is the ribbon with the bell from the puppy and when he proposed. But they've only known each other for a year, and not only does he get her a dog, he also proposes. You gotta be really confident. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yes, we got a puppy.
He needs a name.
Oh my goodness, you need a name. Yeah. What about Star?
Yeah, that's what we would call a shit name. The next day, Star, the dog, is freaking out. He's digging under one of the chairs in the living room and surprise, finds the bell ornament that's been missing all this time. Bitch hasn't vacuumed under that chair in 3 years, apparently. The next day, back at that community center room of the toy drive, our girl's friend brings in a bunch of wedding dress magazines so our girl can pick out a wedding dress. Is this normal? Because I feel first off, they got married or they got engaged the day before and now she already knows and she has the magazines. I don't know, this is the least of our worries. Anyway, our girl is distracted and she's like, do you believe in signs? Which is always a good start to a really psychotic conversation.
I started telling Audrey these stories about Colby before bed. The first one I told her was about the night we met at the Christmas tree lighting.
That was such a fun night. Your jokes were so bad. Sorry, I'm listening.
Well, yesterday at the Christmas tree lot, the guy said king of trees. I mean, you remember Colby said that.
How on God's green earth would a friend remember a throwaway line from some man 11 years ago? But continue.
And later I saw a guy who looked just like him in his forced recon jacket.
Which is a military town, Danielle.
Okay, so how about this one? Last night I told her the story about how Colby proposed to me with that ornament. Well, it's been missing for 3 years. Star found it this morning. Why are all of these strange things happening?
They're called coincidences?
This is gonna sound crazy, but I feel Colby's presence. It's like he's all around me.
Okay, look. I don't mean to psychoanalyze, but you did just get engaged. Maybe you're feeling a little guilt on some level, like you're betraying Colby, even though you are not, of course.
Maybe.
And it's Christmas. A lot of big things in your life have happened around the holidays.
True.
Colby, he was your first love. He's always gonna be a part of you. But you are allowed to be happy again.
A+ friend. Like, very valid advice, very reasonable. Let's nip this in the bud before we get a full-blown spiral. Do you know what I mean? Back at the house, Pierce's spidey sense is going off again, and he knows something's up, and our girl tells him about, like, she's honest, and she says, you know, I've just been kind of confused. I've had a lot of these memories come up. The kid's been asking about Colby. I'm having a lot happen right now. With full glam makeup. Immediately after this very heartfelt declaration of being a bit confused and overwhelmed, Pierce asks if she knows what day she would like to get married on, and also that he met with a realtor to figure out where they're gonna live, because they can't live in Pierce's condo, it's too small. Bitch just wants to live in her really nice house. But the whole point of this scene and this sort of plot point just keeps happening throughout this movie over and over again, is that our girl is confused, but she's willing to sort of like fake it and move forward. And Pierce is just so fucking excited to get married, and he's planning like where they're gonna live and their retirement and everything. It's that time again, another bedtime story. This time the daughter has a wedding photo, like a photo of the wedding party, whatever, you know what a wedding photo is. I don't know why I'm describing it, but she points to the flower girl.
Who's this, Mommy?
Oh, our wedding photo. That is Jenny. She was the flower girl at our wedding. She's the daughter of one of Daddy's friends from his unit.
She's pretty.
Well, she'd be a teenager by now. I haven't seen her or Mom Lisa in years.
You know what to do. Keep that up here. We get a flashback to our girl's wedding to Colby, and you guessed it, it's in that community center room. They paid to film in this room, and they wanted to get their money's worth. Nothing else really happens in this flashback, but afterwards, when our girl is coming downstairs, she's in heels in her own fucking house. Disgusting. The next day, our girl goes to a cafe, and surprise, you guessed it, the flower girl mentioned in the flashback is there with her mom, having not seen our girl in years. Everything that is mentioned in a flashback, in a Christmas bedtime story, comes up the next day in real life. If only she could tell us the lottery numbers. The black lady mom mentions to our girl that there's like this women's group and she should really join them. And it kind of sounds like all of the women have dead husbands, right? They're all military wives whose husbands have, you know, died in conflict. And so it kind of sounds like they get together and they do book clubs and they go out to dinner, but they also like talk through their grief and everything. And honestly, this sounds just like genuinely wonderful. Especially if you think this Hallmark movie could be for that type of woman, you know, a woman who had a military spouse who died. You know, we could show some realism, working through grief and everything and supporting women, and just like, that's wonderful and real. Anyway, put a pin in that. Just put a pin in that. We learned that the black lady remarried to this man who is absolutely gay, but he's got a beautiful sweater. And then Pierce shows up and announces that they our girl and Pierce got engaged, and everyone's like, yay, that's so nice. But he realizes that our girl didn't mention it, like she's embarrassed that they're getting married. Ouch. That sucks. But Pierce is desperate, so he overlooks this red flag. After this, we get a few scenes that are not worth mentioning, but please know I watched this movie twice. So pity me. That night, the black lady from the cafe is hosting like this family night, and they do like a movie and s'mores and stuff, and she invites our girl Pierce and our girl's daughter so they can have this sort of like family time. It's very cute. And it's here that our girl picks a wedding day and says that they should move in together. She's obviously emotionally struggling, but rather than work on that, let's just string Pierce along. And honestly, he can't wait. We get some royalty-free Christmas music while they're doing s'mores and stuff. It's all very wholesome. Merry Christmas. One thing that got me is Pierce takes like a family selfie from down below shooting up. Who does that? My double chin could never. It's here we actually get like a really beautiful moment with the black woman, and she's talking about Doug, her husband, who died in the military with Colby.
Was it hard for you to say yes to Henry with everything you've been through?
It was hard just to say yes to coffee. Everything reminded me of Doug. I'd smell his cologne. I'd see his face in every Marine. I felt like I was betraying him somehow.
That's kind of how I've been feeling.
It's part of the process when you lose someone. Henry and I actually met at a support group. He lost his wife, and we were going through a lot of the same things.
Wow.
And honestly, this train of thought is so wonderful because it is so realistic. This is real life, and grief can be horrible. And you think, again, a military spouse watching this movie maybe had, you know, a spouse die, and the grief, you know, it's just, it feels so real. Put a pin in that. It's time for another bedtime story. Mommy, how was I conceived? No, just kidding. Can you imagine though? It's her birth story. Much less interesting. In the flashback, it shows our girl going into labor and there's a freak snowstorm. How crazy. In December, what are the odds? The sister calls Colby and catches him just as he's landing from a mission. So he commandeers like a truck and drives through the snowstorm and gets to the house to rescue her. So even though there's this huge snowstorm, he gets her to the hospital on time. Now, based on this flashback, what do you think will happen in real life the next day? She's pregnant. No, but there's a snowstorm. Again, in December, how crazy. It's the kid's birthday and we do get a fake snow montage. Everybody's very happy and fun and yay, birthday time, snow, Christmas, whatever. But our girl is distracted because she thinks that all of these are signs.
Sorry, I was just thinking about the snowstorm this morning.
Yeah, what about it?
Oh, we live in Virginia. We hardly ever get weather like this in December.
It's winter, these things happen.
I know, but last night Audrey and I were talking about the day she was born. Do you remember how bad the weather was that day?
You almost didn't make it to the hospital in time. Where are you going with this?
Don't you think it's strange that of all days, today, all this snow, it's like the universe or Colby is speaking to me.
I'm saying what exactly?
Has it ever bothered you that they found every Marine in Colby's unit except him? Because it bothers me.
Sweetie, please don't go down this road again.
Pause. Couple of things. Number one, if there are signs from Colby, isn't that more of like a haunting? You know, like he's dead and he's making these signs? Because how is he doing the signs if he's alive? Number two, it is important that we are told that they never found his body and he was presumed dead. But remember, it's been 3 years. Now, at this point, I thought there is no way that Colby is alive. There's no way they could do that. Even Hallmark, there's no way. But the way that they were setting up this scene, maybe. But at the same time, no. It's fucking 2022, let's get real. The friend's father is like a high up military general kind of guy, and she encourages our girl, like, go speak with my dad tomorrow. He can talk about the crash and the military mission and get a bit more closure because we can't be doing this Colby is alive 3 years later nonsense. Which again, A+ friend. We got good friends in this movie. Unfortunately, our girl is a fucking idiot. That night after the birthday party, Pierce gives the daughter, his future stepdaughter, this beautiful birthstone necklace, and it is genuinely very sweet.
That was so thoughtful of you.
You know what? I actually had a lot of fun shopping for her.
I bet you did. He questions her about crying earlier because, you know, his spidey sense is going off. Maybe something's not quite right. And she explains all the signs to him in full glam makeup. But again, Pierce is very understanding. He is that desperate to get married. All right, he's gonna overlook this as well. It's time for bed, but I guess the writers ran out of Colby-related bedtime stories. So instead, we get this.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round the unvirgin mother and child.
The next day, our girl meets with the general to discuss Colby's crash. So the general recaps what happened. Their plane was shot down. Everybody was dead. All the bodies were there except Colby's. But there's no way that he could have swam to shore, and there's no, like, record of him being taken prisoner. The military officially declared him dead, like, shortly after this accident, and the general guy basically tells her, you gotta move on. We get another scene at the community center room, and basically our girl is just talking about, like, moving forward, and she feels like she's got that closure, and she's talking about they'll probably be moving off base because she's not military and Pierce isn't either, but she can work you know, in a new town and start fresh. And honestly, fair. This seems healthy, right? Let's move forward. That night, we get a Christmas party with Pierce's company. Did I say he works at a toy store? It's not really relevant, but we get this Toy Story corporate Christmas party. And this one scene, okay, this is probably just me, but just thinking about it. Okay, we get a shot of our girl and Pierce meeting this random couple, and the man's face?
Yes, I'm a very lucky man.
What? Did that man not know the camera was rolling? Hilarious. He either didn't know where he was, or that was a genuine facial choice. Another thing that made me laugh, and maybe it's just me, and maybe it's because I've sat through this movie twice now. I have reached the point of delirium, but the company boss is giving a speech, and it's very plain and boring. It's just your standard, like, Christmas boss speech. But at the end, Pierce goes, woo, but he's the only one.
And we should be so proud of how much this company has grown. Woo, woo, woo.
Incredible. I think it might be just because I'm delirious. But I found this whole section just unbelievably funny. Woo. Anyway, the boss tells a bad Christmas joke pun that our girl loves, remember, from that flashback. She loves the puns, but Pierce thinks it's really cringe. And so now we have this like little mini conflict. They do not see eye to eye on pun-related humor, apparently. While she's in the bathroom, Pierce complains to the one black guy, remember? And he's complaining like she keeps talking about Colby and she's giving like really mixed signals because she's crying about him a lot. But then she picks the wedding date and she talks about moving in and he's kind of like, I don't know what to do. She comes back from the bathroom and is immediately like, yeah, I want to go. I gotta put my kid to bed. The sister couldn't do it one time. The kid's like 8 years old. I don't know, just being really rude right now. Dropping her off at her house, Pierce is like, are you having second thoughts? Like, are you concerned about getting married? Are you unsure? And our girl says, no, everything's fine. Keep stringing him along. Men love that.
Hi, honey. Seems like you and Auntie Jane had fun tonight.
Mommy, when's the last time you saw Daddy?
Fucking hell, kid, you could at least say hi first. We get another bedtime story of Colby's last mission, but in the flashback, our girl doesn't have bangs anymore. I don't know if that was a mistake or at this point, they just could not be bothered.
I want you and Audrey to know how much I love you.
I love you so much. Can't wait for you to get home.
I left something for you. You'll find it in the back.
I remember when Daddy left. I asked him for a baby brother or sister. He told me yes.
And this is where we find out that Colby left sperm in her fridge. No, that doesn't happen. But honestly, that would make more sense than the rest of this movie. She never found the thing that he left. And it's been 3 years at this point, so it's not looking good. But we know we just had a flashback, which means the next day, something's gonna happen related to that flashback. Remember? That's good writing. After tucking in the kids, she's talking to her sister again, and she says she's gonna go for a quick walk in the middle of the night, in the snow, in her heels and fancy dress. And the sister says,
Mind if I go for a quick walk? Go for a long walk. Clear your head.
well, I guess I'll just die. She goes for a walk in her big heels and her fancy Christmas dress, and she stands beside a Christmas tree that we're meant to believe is the same Christmas tree that her and Colby took a photo beside, whatever, 11 years prior.
I hope you're okay with me marrying Pierce. It's hard for me because it feels like I'm saying goodbye to you. Makes us feel so final.
Okay, pause. Wouldn't this be a nice story direction? Like, she's gotten signs from Colby that he's happy for her and she can move forward with her life. She can start a new life with Pierce. She can go off base and just continue living, right? A very realistic story that another military spouse or another widow could take comfort from, right? Like, yeah, you can move on with your life. You can be happy after the death of a spouse. That happens in real life. This is also very realistic. If only that's what we ended up doing. We're back at the community center again for like the toy drive party. This fucking toy drive has lasted 1,000,000 years. But she does tell the black lady that she would like to join the women's group where they hang out and they talk about their grief and stuff. And it's like, hell yeah, let's do it. Let's move forward with our lives.
I'm reminded what Christmas is all about. Family, friends. My husband once promised me a lifetime of Christmases. But the truth is, none of us know what tomorrow will bring. So, we should embrace the past, but being truly present and in the moment with the people you love the most, that's the greatest present of all.
If only the movie ended here. But we've got 15 minutes left to blow your fucking mind. Pierce is annoyed by her speech and mentioning her dead husband again. So he blows her off for dinner, but he says, let's get together tomorrow morning to have coffee. So she goes home from the party and she's finally packing up Colby's stuff, like his clothes and stuff. And it's here she finds one of her old journals that somehow got tangled up in all this stuff. And surprise, the thing that Colby left from yesterday's flashback is a note hidden inside her journal.
I remember what you said the day I proposed. Follow your heart. Best decision I ever made.
It's coffee time with Pierce. Dun dun dun.
I've been thinking about what we both want. You know, I'm dreaming of the perfect house and planning for retirement, whereas I'm not even sure you're ready to leave base. I wonder if we're in two different places in our lives.
I'm wondering the same thing.
So they break up.
Did you still want me to take Audrey to the father-daughter Christmas dance, if it's not too awkward?
Thank you. Really. But I think I need to take her myself.
Poor Pierce. Getting dumped from all sides. But pause. Wouldn't this be a nice storyline? She ends the relationship that she wasn't quite ready for, but she moves forward with her life and her daughter, and she learns to love herself, and then when she falls in love next, she'll be ready. Wouldn't that be a nice storyline? Our girl goes home and tells the kid that, spoiler alert, not getting married to Pierce anymore. The kid It's like kind of sad, but doesn't really care. But more importantly, we get breaking news.
Back to you, Scott.
The dance is on.
Yay,
great. A Marine Corps Special Operations team has infiltrated an enemy compound in Yemen. We are getting word that several prisoners have been rescued in the mission. We'll bring you the latest details as they come into the newsroom.
Surely not, right? It's finally the father-daughter dance that our girl is gonna take the kid to, and the poor kid gets this fucking ugly ass dress. The mom's dress is great. The kid's dress sucks, but that's, you know, priorities. We get inside and our girl immediately bails, runs off to the bathroom. She's very upset. And like, I get it, obviously, but also it's mentioned that she is not the only mom here. There's lots of other families where the father has died. So like, realistically, she's not that special. Our girl starts crying in the bathroom and the kid is just left there. That is a core memory for sure. Pause. Wouldn't it be a great story if our girl starts to work through the grief? She starts like moving forward with her life as a single parent with her and her kid. They move off base and they learn to live again. Like, wouldn't that be such a wonderful storyline for people who have gone through this themselves? That is reality. Reality is people die, spouses die, and we have to move forward. And wouldn't that be just a wonderful storyline that viewers could relate to? Right? That's what we're gonna do, right? You can do this.
Colby. I wish we could have one more Christmas together.
Surely not. Surely not.
Colby?
And no, it's not a hallucination, because that's what I thought at first. I thought maybe she fell in that bathroom and hit her head. No, it's not a hallucination. We are actually doing this. While everyone is screaming at their TVs, we do get a little bit of an exposition dump. He was one of the prisoners at that camp in Yemen that was rescued that morning. It's 22-hour flight, but yeah, he shows up at this father-daughter dance. And yes, he has all his limbs. And yes, he has all his muscle mass. So you know, for the last 3 years, he was able to get some protein powder shipped to that prisoner of war camp. Not a scratch on this man. And suddenly I realized why this is one of the most hated Hallmark movies of all time. I get it. Our girl brings Colby into the dance, and you know that kid would have no idea who that man is.
I love you, Daddy.
This ending makes me want to commit a war crime. Send me to Yemen. Honestly, a prisoner of war camp in Yemen sounds better than watching this movie. They do dub Colby for some reason here. When he's speaking to the daughter, there's a very obvious voiceover, which I just love.
Beautiful. Yeah, baby girl. It's me. I'm home.
I'm always curious why they do that. Also, who's gonna tell him she's been fucking his best friend? Unfortunately, we don't get that conversation. It fades to black while the family are dancing together. Back at home, they tuck the daughter into bed. Just imagine the amount of PTSD this man would have.
Will you tell me a story?
Sure, sweetie. Once upon a time.
A soldier was tortured in Yemen with this technique called waterboarding. It's when they put a cloth over your face. Ladies and gentlemen, that is why Christmas Bedtime Stories is one of the most hated Hallmark movies of all time. I would love to know your thoughts on the ending. Please leave a comment down below after you stop screaming. Now for all Hallmark movies, I have 3 ratings: chemistry, plot, and overall enjoyment. Now for chemistry, I'm gonna give this 1 out of 5. It's very clear that she doesn't want to be in a relationship with Pierce. There's no chemistry there. He's just desperate to get married at all costs. For plot, I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5. It is truly insane. Like, what can you say? And the idea of like getting signs from a loved one, but then thinking the loved one is alive when getting signs from a loved one is always like a dead thing, right? Like, just insane. And finally, for enjoyment, this is a perfect 5 out of 5. This is why I love Hallmark movies, when they make something that is so utterly insane. This film was approved by multiple people who watched it and said, yeah, that's a good idea, let's do that. I love it. If you would like to watch another recap, which I would totally love it, how about this one? It's your classic lovers to enemies, but it's truly horrific. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye!